How's it going, guys? It's your boy Poppy Wolf, and today we're going to be talking about the new season of Doctor Stone, Episode 1. It's the beginning of the Stone Wars, so let's begin, shall we? So when we first pick off, we see Gen. Is it Gen or Gen? It's Gen, I think. We see him, or it's pronounced Gene, I think. Gene. Anyways, I don't know how to pronounce the name until I watch it up again. But anyways, he is retelling the story of how Senku first began and how everyone started slowly becoming people again. He tells them of a time when everyone got turned to stone, millions of years of progression was destroyed, only for Senku to be last son of humanity, I guess, and reawaken and slowly start and work his way back up to saving everyone. Now, we see Gen is actually telling this story because he wants to procrastinate, which I think is fucking hilarious for his character. But they're working on making dry space food, and people are wondering why are they working on space food. Well, yes and no, they're working on space food. They're actually working on making some cup ramen. I think that's the dopest thing ever, is how much Senku realizes that in order to win a battle, there's different ways that you have to take care of. He understands that fighting in the winter right now is probably their best bet, only because it's kind of like when Napoleon and everybody else tried to invade Russia, like Germany, like they realize that the winters are way too fucking harsh, and invading a country at its probably most deadliest weather is not ideal. So Senku understands that this is the best way to attack and the best way to win. Their whole goal for this episode is to make enough food so that way when they send people out, they're not going to go starving, and it's something that's quick and efficient to where they can get up and leave. It's really smart because I would understand cooking a boar, cooking any animal would probably take a good amount of time. While with a cup of soup, it's just a quick little pour hot water, give it like 10 seconds, eat, throw that away, like, or throw it in the fire at this point. Like something to kind of just be fast and efficient, or you don't really have to spend time actually cooking, preparing. It's so interesting how we go about him. First off, like cooling the food down and dehydrating it. It's such an interesting process. Well, one thing I love about Doctor Stone is that they actually really go into the science of it, of like freeze food or freeze drying food and stuff. Like it's so cool. I never really think about that too much. I never really think about like, oh damn, I wonder how cup of ramen is. But this anime goes out of its way to kind of be like, nope, this is how it's done, and we're gonna do it basically guerrilla style, and it's so dope. And I love how much progression the kingdom, his little town and village, has been growing. It's got their own waterway, so they're producing their own energy. Like they've got so much stuff that it's like, wow, like you're really actually like skipping years of like natural progression. These people were like cavemen, villagers, Stone Age, and you brought them into like at least the was it 17th century, the 18th century. So yeah, 18th century. So he brought them into the 18th century. I thought that was so dope. And we keep getting these like big plans of like how are we gonna fight the kingdom of Tsukasa? How are we gonna fight the kingdom of Might? And it's fun to see that he knows how to do it. And we get this big old plan from Gen or Jen. I'm gonna call him Gen. He gets this big plan of like, I know how we can use the cell phone and still get away with the message. And he gets this revelation when they're all hearing what's her name song, the diva. I don't remember her name, but I hate the fact I can't remember names, guys. I'm really trying. But he hears the song and he realizes I can somewhat mimic the voice. The only thing is, under these low quality phones, it will sound like an actual woman. Like it's low quality enough to where this can trick them. And it's such a smart thing, is because we forget that Jen is a mentalist, but he's also cunning. Like he's very cunning for someone who's kind of uh, a cheap person, and I think that's what his biggest strength is. I think Senku wouldn't be as well, yeah, it's because Senku's a genius, but the thing is sometimes you got to think differently in different ways. Sometimes you got to think strong, you got to think cunning, you got to think underhanded, and these are things that Senku really hasn't thought about because he's so preoccupied thinking of ways to progress and to win the war without having to fight. But this is another big underhanded tactic that he's like, of course, this is that makes so much sense to do it like this. Then we split off to three teams. We split off to the engineer team, the drop off team, and basically like the team that's gonna like be misdirection for Hamura. I remember her name. Who's literally Tsukasa's fucking snitch, aka his little bird that is watching the whole thing transpire. But Senku, he's basically kind of giving everyone a pep talk about like, okay, this is how we're gonna go about this. We do have some grievances from other people thinking like, is war really the option? Of course, it's the option because Senku doesn't plan on killing anyone. I think everyone kind of figures that Senku's this kind of like, because he's smart, he kind of has no emotion. Well, he's not a sociopath, so he does value the human life of his enemies. So he's kind of like, I don't want to do that. One thing that's kind of, so I haven't read the manga yet, but one thing that's kind of gotten me a little like, I wouldn't say a hang up, but something that is interesting is we find that everyone keeps asking, how are Senku's friends like? Senku oversimplifies saying one's an idiot and one's a girl, but now I'm kind of thinking, like I'm very interested in certain things. Like, can we trust his friends? I know Tajiro was like his BFF since kids, and he's the meathead and all that. But what about his girlfriend or the girl he likes? Like, I'm still very skeptical. Like, I think it's because my buddy one time said, "Hey, do you think you can trust her?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I don't know, bro. Like, do you think we can trust her?" I don't know if he read the manga and he's just trying to hint on me about something, but it definitely came up in the anime when they mentioned them. That made me think, can we trust them? Like, why was that a question raised? I get it narratively why, but at the same time too, like, it made me think a bit. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's not or isn't. It's just something small that they brought up just to like keep the narrative going about like how, like, who can we trust, and the reason why we have two cell phones. But still, it's something that I'm looking out for, and if I pick up more stuff, I'm definitely gonna mention it because I'm still very like skeptical on what's gonna happen. Anyways, so we get more. We see the distraction and how they're gonna go about it, and I'm just calling Ginro because it's like gold. Him and Senku set up these bombs, these makeshift bombs with the animal skin, and they fucking just blow stuff up, and they distract Hamura. So the point she's gonna investigate that, while everybody else can go and run and deliver these batteries. Now, the episode ends like that with him saying the Stone Wars begins and all this. I'm still thinking like, Tsukasa isn't an idiot. Like, he's had to been watching, like, Tojiro is his name, Tajiro, I don't remember, but he's had to been watching them. Like, he's not an idiot. Like I'm pretty sure he knows Gen was lying off the bat, and he's interested in seeing a fight. Although he wants his kingdom to prosper, the kingdom of might, he also understands like sometimes you have to keep him a fight. Now, the big plan that Gen and Senku came up with is they're gonna try to play off that America knows exactly what's happening. America's fine because remember that Idol's from America, that she's fine, she's doing well, and that, you know, America has things undercover. So that way when they get to Japan and they relay this message, everyone in Japan is like, oh shit, so we don't need to be following Tsukasa. But the thing is, a part of me thinks is what's gonna fail about this plan is that everyone who's following Tsukasa has drank the Kool-Aid, you know, like they've understand like Tsukasa's way of thinking, and they all remotely do idolize Tsukasa that way. Like, that's the only way I see this kind of not working for them, is that they don't care. They're willing to stay in the stone world and accept their fate like this. While this plan has probably like a half a chance working, we also get more like stuff. And I think some of the stuff I didn't mention that wasn't really plot heavy, but still very like fun to see, is when Senku's making the ramen, he thinks of his dad and how they went about making freeze-dried food for him in space. It's just small stuff like that that makes me realize like Black Clover is definitely a fun science kind of action anime, but sci-fi I would say, but at the same time too, it has its heart. And seeing Senku just remember his dad and remember what they're fighting for, it's always just so heartwarming, because Senku, I wouldn't say he's lost a lot, but this whole village was thanks to his dad. Without Senku's dad, Senku wouldn't have the advantage that he has from the village. I mean, his dad started the village with everybody that was with him in space, and he basically kind of, I want to say he handcrafted this, but he made sure that when the time came, Senku would be the one who would pick up where all the stone and all this horrible world would left off. Like when they started their own little village, he knew Senku was alive somehow. He knew Senku would come back. And I think that dedication shows how much that Senku really did love his dad. And I think when you take into context everything that Senku's dad did for him in the past season, about literally devoting his life to giving Senku the ability to like explore his mind, it really does make you think, damn, like Senku's dad has never doubted him and his ability one bit. And Senku is happy that he's always had that trust from his dad. Even now, when he's making the ramen and everything, he still remembers all that. Jesus, I just love Doctor Stone. Doctor Stone is one of those fun animes. I put it in A tier. It's good. It's not fantastical, but it definitely is amazing. So if I had to rate this episode, I would definitely give it a nice 8 out of 10. It's such a fun way to start the episode. It's such an interesting way to begin. They leave us on such a, like, I wouldn't say a cliffhanger, but they leave us on the edge of our seat trying to see what's going to happen next. And the animation always looks fantastic. The only thing I would want to see more is, like, I don't even think there's anything more we want to see. I just think that we could have wrapped up a lot of this stuff with the ramen stuff a little bit faster, and we could have began like the journey too. I mean, we did that in this episode, but I mean, nothing really lagged. I just think this is a solid 8 out of 10. There wasn't anything that pushed it to 9, and there wasn't anything that pushed it to 10. I think 8 out of 10 is perfect for this. Nice B. But anyways, guys, this is your boy Poppy Wolf saying peace. I'll see you guys next week. Later.